this event. This project will take place on Saturday, March 8th from 8 a.m. to noon at the downtown Fort Pierce Farmers Market. When you purchase one bulb for $25, you'll enjoy a complimentary restaurant, learn more and stop at the movement. The Syrian soccer player became the voice of the country's revolution with his iconic protest anthems. He was killed in 2019, but his songs still lives. Story and all things
Alright guys, so yeah, if you can guess, I am playing in the car. Seems like
their cookware can be found at madeInCookware.com.
Yeah, you guys are looking absolutely scrumptious.
Where far-right President Javier Milei is facing calls for impeachment after a crypto crash. So the backstory here is that last week Milei posted a message on social media promoting a cryptocurrency. Then he later deleted it. The currency collapsed in value. Investors lost millions. To get a better understanding of all of this, we are joined by Robin Farzad, host of the podcast Full Disclosure. Hey there, Robin.
Hey.
It's great to have you with us. So first of all, to be clear, there is no proof that Argentina's president had any stake in this coin. Is that right? And if so,
That's right.
what's he accused of doing?
He's prevaricating. At the very least, he's accused of being careless. I mean, that you could have crypto people in his midst ahead of this trip to the United States, maybe manipulating him into an inadvertent pump and dump, or what they call a rug pull scheme. So this is someone that he had only recently met. They came up with this idea, and then on his personal account, he touts it, but then he steps back afterwards, deletes the tweet, and says, well, I wasn't endorsing it exactly, but I can see what you were meaning. And by the way, if you play roulette, sometimes you will get the bullet. So it's full of mixed messages, and especially in the markets, capital markets in Argentina, which have been weakened over 20, 25 years, and there's very little trust in the market. That's a real setback for them, and their markets tanked yesterday.
Robin, you mentioned this term that I've heard, phrase, I should say, rug pull. I've heard this used before. Can you kind of just drill down on us? Exactly what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, just in a very basic sense, if you think about a pump and dump, and this is stuff that we litigated in the 1920s before modern securities regulation. You pump something up, a concept, a stock, everybody starts calling around about it. The echo chamber happens, especially when a powerful person, such as a head of state or someone like a Warren Buffett, is rumored to be involved. Everybody is moving up the stock and bidding it up until they find out that there's nothing underlying that enthusiasm, and they use that occasion to sell out. And the little investor, ostensibly mom and pop, the most naive people late to the game, are the ones holding the losses.
So say many people invested in this coin that lost money. All happened very quickly. Did anyone make money then in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, there are winners and losers. There are people who bought in and got to sell out at several dollars before it tanked, 60, 70%. And the person who was involved with this, the crypto entrepreneur, says, well, considering the misunderstanding and that he has egg on his face, Malay, I'd like to, reinvest money back into the currency. But there's very little confidence right now. The broader situation is, I'm sure you're going to get into, is how this reflects on the United States, where you have an also kind of crypto-friendly regime, and two people who've been very open on social media about their enthusiasm for crypto, with Musk and Trump. And so we're a much bigger economy, and the money at stake is just far bigger here.
Robin, before I let you go, I do want to ask, as I was reading this story about the Argentinian coin, it did bring back this memory of all the time. What happened to that coin?
I mean, that too tanked. There was a large... There are estimates from Reuters that something close to $100 million was paid by companies close to Trump himself. So it's always a matter of fire and where we thought we had regulations in place for this, but as you know, the USEC is going to be
That is Robin
babe?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For Black writers, writing about Black life can be profitable, but it comes with a cost.
If the mission is to create from the place of Black trauma, of Black pain, well
So you say here in the bus park area.
to experience it.
The author of How to Sell Out, Legal Philosophy of Black Writer. That's next time on The Paper.
Tonight at 7 here on WQCS 88.9 FM. Hello, this is John Nelson. Welcome to the Audubon Moment. The American oyster catcher is a shorebird that, as its name implies, feeds mostly on oysters, but it also eats clams and mussels. This shorebird readily stands out from the crowd. At up to 17 inches long, American oyster catchers have the bright red eye-branded bill. Their back is dark brown with a white dot. Finally, they have a bright golden eye. American oyster catchers use their bills to skillfully open bivalves to extract the meat. Strictly a coastal bird, they can be found on the Atlantic and Gulf Coast year-round, with the exception of central and southern Florida. Migrating flocks will winter in southern Florida and several Caribbean islands will Cuba. Thanks for joining us for another Audubon Moment, and if you're interested in learning more about the birds in your area, look for us on the internet at the Audubon Moment.
Okay, so you said $19 for
Funding for Here and Now comes from BetterHelp,
$19
committed to making
plus-
mental
plus-
well-being a priority
plus
and
what?
offering support in
Tax.
taking on everything life
plus
demands.
tax and
With
what?
therapists available to communicate via video, chat, or phone at betterhelp.com/public. And presenting the Internet Culture Podcast, Endless Thread.
Okay.
Feed your curiosity with untold
Alright.
histories, unsolved
guess,
mysteries,
but-
and stories about technology.
But they would have to leave the
and
car in here.
madness. Endless Thread. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay.
From NPR and WPR, I'm Miss McClellan in Washington, D.C. I'm Robin Young in Boston. It's here and now. Cannabis,
Okay.
marijuana, is legal in 24 states, 3 U.S. territories, and D.C. Ergo, some might say, it's
Well,
harmless. Well, for some, it might be. But a new study shows other
wait, move that child in the back.
Hey,
Hey, hey, why you talking like that?
Stop it.
Hey, hey. Who's teaching you to talk like that? Hey, yo.
I taught myself how to talk like that. I taught myself how to talk like that.
What is it?
It's someone who is having poor social consequences.
Buckle up, guys.
Is that they continue to use cannabis and are unable to stop. Often, someone who is even accused
Get buckled.
or someone who
Because I'm in the car playing.
uses cannabis and neither of those
What do you mean when you say it's affecting them and they still can't stop? Like, what kinds of things are happening?
There might be someone who's having trouble with relationships, someone who's having consequences like they were charged.
Yeah, I should actually plant
That's what I wanted to do today.
And the person's
Yeah, well, I know how I feel.
still don't stop. It might be someone who, whenever they stop using cannabis, has really the intensity.
The windows up, action.
Who uses cannabis regularly actually develops a condition called cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, where they have terrible stomach pain and intractable vomiting, and they end up and emerge with that, and the person simply can't stop.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, how you did your study. You took data that's available through Ontario's health system and found about 107,000 people diagnosed with this cannabis use disorder. Many of them in emergency rooms.
What's that smell?
Just want to make sure.
No.
For those thinking of Cheech and
I
Chong,
said no.
16 year old. This is not your grandfather's cannabis.
No, just no.
She's not the sheriff, who she is.
Daddy, show me
Shut up. You're becoming a problem child. So it was Axel. It looked like it's you.
Now that we've proceeded in the conversation,
oh, cannabis caused fatal heart attacks. It could be other things related to the lifestyle of cannabis users. Can you explain that?
Yeah, and I mean, first, we estimate that for every person who's showing up to
I need
in our
sand.
study, there's another 2 to 3 who actually may have a cannabis use disorder but didn't require care. But in this study, we get some hints at what might be going on when we look at the specific causes of death. And the biggest elevation that we saw was for death by suicide, so a 10 times increase. We also saw large increases in the risk of death through other types of drug overdoses, like opioids, big increases in the risk of death through trauma, so motor vehicle collisions,
Pleasure, bro.
cancer, and cardiovascular disease.
The suicide is heartbreaking, especially since there's a perception of cannabis being this uplifting drug, but it sounds as if it can be depressant. Or is that somebody having a paradoxical reaction to it? What is happening there?
You're probably seeing a couple of things. So one, because of the way it's changing mental health and your ability to deal with emotions and intense reactions, there may also be an effect of acute intoxication where it's changing people's inhibition. And then I think that there's also a possibility of self-medication. So the cannabis is in some ways just a marker of someone who's having very severe mental health challenges.
Well, this brings us to a second study that you and I did. It's on the connection between cannabis use and rates of psychosis and schizophrenia. You found using marijuana
What's up,
is
Rosalie?
associated with both. Now, some researchers have
That-
not found the association, but you found rates
What are you talking about, man? You want me to accommodate you messing around your games?
No, I would rather you not make us
I'm
crash.
After cannabis
Just
was
put your
legalized,
phone away. I'm calling.
show a connection between more
There.
cannabis use
So his truth game is slipping out. He's cut. What?
No, you literally jerked the wheel.
Man, shut up, man. I'm trying to get somewhere.
neurotransmitters in the brain.
Inconvenience you of your game.
It's not inconveniencing me. I just don't want to die.
Causing
Get shit away.
I don't want to
That's what you
die.
should be doing.
I don't want to die. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to die. I don't want to die in IRL.
So the first one is that there are individuals who are always going to develop schizophrenia.
Which house is?
A combination of genetics, related experiences. They were going to develop
Where's that?
schizophrenia. And what's clear is that in that group, regular cannabis use will cause them to develop schizophrenia earlier in life and for their symptoms to be worse. And of that, there's very little scientific debate. There is considerable debate about whether or not cannabis use causes individuals who otherwise would not have developed schizophrenia to develop it. And there, again, there are conflicting studies for sure. I think overall, there's a pretty large body of epidemiological studies like the ones that we did, along with brain imaging studies and genetic studies that suggest that some portion of people who develop schizophrenia may not have if they had not used cannabis. But again, I think that the people who are going to develop schizophrenia from cannabis use, if in fact it causes that to occur, are probably at quite high risk from genetics and other factors, and that it moves them over. I know my literature is that there are likely some people who never would have if they had not used cannabis regularly.
Look, families that have alcoholism running through them like a river can at least raise children to understand they might have a genetic disposition. Same with families with psychosis. They want to be careful not to do anything to have trauma or trigger what's been in the family. Is there anything anyone can do with cannabis? Is there a way to
What do you want to
find that out ahead of
do?
time?
Regardless of
somewhere like afterwards you set up the
people
thing.
who have a personal history of psychosis or bipolar disorder, people who have mania, or a family history. I, as a precaution, I would say
Okay.
for that matter,
Isn't that expensive, though?
substances.
Well, what about the possibility of being someone who abuses cannabis itself? Is there a way to know if you are going to be, or a loved one is going to be one of those people that once started may not be able to stop?
Yeah, I mean, what's really challenging is that alcohol, in general, like there are very strong family histories. Because cannabis use is less common, you could say, oh, like none of my relatives have ever had bad reactions or episodes of cannabis-induced psychosis, but maybe most of your relatives have never used cannabis before, or have not, certainly not used the new strength of cannabis. So
Or not told you.
Yeah, well, factors that are associated with starting using irregular means in Canada.
Yeah. I mean, it's known as getting it in and out of it. Well, getting it out of it is you don't get it right.
Part of zone life is having to be
Get it right.
transitions over to the acceptance as well. It's like what's happening is related to this instance.
Are you telling people not to use cannabis marijuana?
Did you
I think that came up.
oh okay.
Of course, nothing in life is without risk, but we can virtually argue about daily experiences.
Ja, alla vad är det va? What side of life?
Dr. Myron from the University of Ottawa is the author of the study Cannabis Use Disorder, Emergency Visits of Hospitalizations, and Violent Mortality. The announcement was made by higher Dr. It was published in JAMA. Dr. Myron, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Listen,
There's no none up what do you call it? No representation for South the West.
I'm Noel. For stories that matter to you, listen every weekday to the morning edition of NPR News. Weekday mornings with me,
Sure.
WQCS. United FM. Donating real estate to WQCS is easy and a great way to support the local radio program we listen to each day. We accept any property type, from undeveloped land to homes and commercial properties. Learn more about WQCS Real Estate Donation Program by calling 772
How much is them to deliver it?
Donate online at WQCS.org. At the top of our page, select support for more information. Funding for Here and Now comes from the listeners of WBUR Boston and MathWorks, creator of MATLAB and simulant software for technical computing and model-based design. MathWorks, accelerating the pace of discovery in engineering and science. Learn more at mathworks.com. And Olin College, where they're committed to engineer for everyone and engineer for impact. From developing a pulse oximeter that works across skin colors to detecting endometriosis with light and sound waves. Olin.edu. It's Here and Now. The leader of the Scythian movement,
Deliver.
Ziz, and two
Couple
followers
days.
have been arrested in Northern Maryland. Now you're saying, well, you're probably not alone, but this is big news.
They delivered yesterday. That I could just get them to come for it. Well,
Group members have been the focus of a
or
multi-state
probably wouldn't even get it
investigation with a
till
series
today.
of murders, including the shooting death earlier this year of Vermont Border Patrol agent David Milan, the murder a few days earlier of a California man, Curtis Lind, and the assassination as they slept of a Pennsylvania couple, the Zykos, in 2022. The Zizians have been described as 20-something computer science wizards passionate about artificial intelligence, being vegan, and the rationalist movement, which is about emptying the mind of illogical thought in a bid to save the world.
So
but which
$50
adherents
for
in
delivery and
San Francisco
$50 to take away,
say
or
the
just
Zizians radically
that's what they
distorted.
charge. So it's
Hannah
$100
Kruger and her
extra.
colleague Laura Cromaldi have been investigating this group for the Boston Globe. Hannah, hi.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, and thank you for being here, because this is another story we're going to try to lay a little of it out. The leader of the group, Jack Lasoda, who goes by female pronouns and the name Ziz, had a troubled childhood, to say the least, but found a home in this rationalist community in the Bay Area until she rejected it. She had followers who decamped with her. As you were in a circle of whiz kids gone mad, that someone has told you a wannabe Sith Lord, like the Star Wars villain. Why were her followers attracted to Ziz?
I mean, there's a certain trans-like writing that's emblematic of the rationalist movement. It's someone who's completely foreign to it
So that's
feels
what you
almost
wanna do?
impenetrable. Like you don't understand the words. It's in a different language. So it's already starting in a place that's a little bit bizarre to the average person. And then from there, Ziz, in essays published on her blog,
Let's see how it
took
would
things just, you know,
broke
a
my
step
Tim
further
Tam.
and then a step
I don't
further
see
and a
what
step
would
further.
break
And some of those beliefs really stuck with people, and they kept following the blog.
Well,
they
I mean,
kept the comment section.
I
And
guess we could
obviously
let
many
them deliver it because, I mean,
have,
rent the truck and
Well, she
stuff,
said
that's
that
probably what it
community
would
on
cost
boats,
us.
a fellow named
$50.
you know, was giving them some land, renting some land. There was some violence in
save
some
us
land
the
that protested.
manpower.
Also, they attacked him violently before murdering him. But we don't know that yet. When we hear the news from northern Vermont of one of Ziz's associates, this is Teresa Youngblood, a 23-year-old, getting out of a car at a random stop in Florida, and she is now accused
Just
of
a
shooting
find a
Border
way.
Agent Milan.
Stash that
Yes,
food
so,
that we
I
have
mean,
up
yes,
there.
as you
Did you get to see everything in your fridge?
No.
Dinner, the rest of the stuff. What you didn't fit in?
I stuck it underneath the coolant
kind
thing.
of like opened the general public's eyes.
Underneath, I stuck it underneath my AC and then what you call it, and then I turned it on full blast so it stays cool.
And we started connecting the dots, realizing that.
But we should definitely go home so I can finish putting it away.
Well, now help me out here, because one of the things that police
Where's that? Where's that?
like
Where they
you have been looking at is the guns that have surfaced in these killings. Do I understand, have I got this right, that one of the guns was purchased by a young girl named Michelle
Is it
Zyko,
like one of those
whose parents
cards?
were the ones who were shot dead in their home outside
Cody.
Philly in 2022, 2 years before the
One
border
of
was
those cards.
controlled.
The one over there.
And this gun,
Alright guys, I gotta go.
they usually fill